Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am here with a video to help you guys understand the concepts and understand how parking works. Now, I was asked to do a video by a few people and I completely understand, because at the beginning when I was looking at parking, I thought there was absolutely no way that I was going to get my head around all of those pieces of floss and where they are, and how do you know where they go, and how do you know which floss number it is, and how do you know which colour it is, and how do you know where it goes, and things like that. So I actually sat down and I YouTubed for ages before there was just one video, and I can't remember who it was, that it may have been Teresa or Stitcher, and I made myself understand it, and then it just clicked. So it isn't hard parking, I promise you. There are a few things that you need in order to help you park. So today I am going to be working on this project here. Now, this is the Gobbler Farm Max Colours by Donna Gelsinger. This is a brand new project. One of the ladies asked me, would I, instead of working on a project and showing us what parking is and how to do it with one that's already going, could I start a brand new project and literally start from square one? So you're taken right back to the beginning, so you fully understand how to park and what you need to do. So the things you're going to need for parking is, and I would 100% highly recommend you get this if you haven't already got it. This is called Pattern Keeper. Now, I'm really sorry about the glare. Let me see if I can... Right. Okay, so if I move those away, and you won't get the glare from the lights. It's a little bit awkward when you've got Pattern Keeper and a screen. Okay, so this is called Pattern Keeper. Now, I'm just going to run you through really quickly how this works. So every single individual symbol is obviously on the pattern. So this is one symbol, that's another symbol, that's another symbol. And on the right hand side, if I move that up, let me see if I can, I don't know if I can do it. Let me see if, actually, tell you what I'll do is I'll hold it and then I can move it. So this is your pattern. All of this is your pattern. And on the right hand side here, this is your legend. So this tells you what's symbol you've got here, what's number, DMC number. So if I scroll up, you've got DMC numbers, and how many of those DMC numbers you've got in stitches. So for 169, I've got 945 stitches. 221, I've got 309. Now, I'm just going to run through how to use this really quickly, because I cannot recommend this enough. I'm going to grab a pen. Okay, so at the top here, you have got, this is like your, and this one here, this button here, enables you to kind of move around and make your pattern bigger, make it smaller. So that's basically your navigation. This one here is your search. So say, for example, I want to know where all of the E's are. If I bring this down, that will show you in the whole entire pattern exactly where all of those E's are. Now, what Pattern Keeper does, which is amazing, is it splits the pattern not only in pages, dong dong dong, but it also splits it into 10 by 10 squares. I move up. So this is a 10 by 10 square, 10 by 10 square, 10 by 10 square. Now, when you park, you do tend to, and a lot of people actually do tend to do it square by square, square by square, square by square. So for parking, if you're doing square by square, it just basically keeps your work really neat. Now, you of course can do cross country, and you can park and things like that, and I'll get through to the questions in a second, because I have had some questions. So what I'll do is I'll start stitching and then I'll answer the questions. So once you've found your symbol, okay, so that is symbol, if I move this again, here. Can you see, oh, hang on, I don't know where. Okay, so can you see that the symbol for all of those E's that are coloured in green are for symbol E, which is DMC 3371. I'm not sure where my camera is. I think it's this side. Right, so it's 3371. Okay, so I know that all of those E's is floss 3371. Now, if I say, for example, I did those 1, 2, 3, 4 symbols at the top, I say if I've stitched them, what I do then is I'd go to this one here, which enables you to actually put the information onto Pattern Keeper. So I click on that, then I'll highlight 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down the bottom, hang on, I'm going to have to move this again, guys, sorry, to help you. Down the bottom, I have got this little tick bar here. So as soon as I tick that, let me see if I can move this. Okay. You can see that it then highlights it. So then if I click on, again, search for this one here, which I know is 310, you can see that those symbols have been blacked out, but they've actually been blacked out with the same DMC colour as the symbol. Okay, so say for example you had one of these was 316, that would come out as pink. So if you think, oh no, I've done the wrong one, I've done the wrong line, all you do again is press the search for that symbol. Okay, and then you go back onto this one here, which is a highlight and either mark or unmark, and then you just say, for example, that is an incorrect one, you don't want to highlight that one, then you go back down here and you've got a frog button. So once you've clicked on one that you've already highlighted, that will automatically come up with do you want to frog it. So all you do is, if I come down here, I'm going to twist that so you can see it. If I press the frog button, it re-highlights it and basically stamps it as done. So what I'm going to do is explain how you park. So say for example I have done, and what I'll do is I'll stitch in a second and I'll show you. So I'm just going to do the theory for now and then I'll do the practical in a second. So say for example you want to do this 10 by 10 square. Okay, so let's say for example that we have done all of these 10 by 10 squares. Okay, and these are the only ones you want to do. You don't want to go into another square yet. You only want to do a 10 by 10 square. So you've highlighted, you've gone and you've pressed your tick button, and that has highlighted everything. Okay, so say for argument's sake you want to, let's go to this one here, you want to go into this square. So what you will do then, because what you want to do is you want to then park your thread in here so then you can carry on with this square, so then you do your 3 10s. So what you do is you use this button here, you highlight, oh hang on, I've highlighted them, that's, let me see if I can, you highlight that first symbol, and you could highlight any depending on where you want to park. I mean, you could park it here if you want, it's fine. Right, at the bottom here you have, I'm going to try and see if I can hold it up, clear, tick because you want to tick that it's done, or more. So if you press more, it then comes up with this box. Now depending on how you start and end your threads depends on whether you want it parked in the upper left corner, in the upper right corner, in the lower left corner, or in the lower right corner. Now I start my thread lower left, top right, bottom right, top left. So if I press here, park thread in lower left corner, I click that, bang. Right, can you see that it's given me a little triangle here that says there is a parked thread in that that square. So if I highlight this black one. Right, you can see now that it's parked. So if I go to, so on the right hand side, oh hang on, I've got a thing on it. On the right hand side here, now I've now clicked 310. Okay, so I can see that all of these black squares here are all 310, because on my legends it tells me that my threads are 310. Okay, if I want to find out what parked thread that is, I will simply just click it on here and it tells me that that parked thread is 3371. So that is how you do your parking. Now, it is a hell of a lot easier if you are parking using Pattern Keeper. Now, you can do it using a normal paper pattern. All I'd suggest is you put like a dot in the corner of where your threads is. So say for example, if I was working on a pattern, I'd put like a black dot in the sort of lower left hand corner of that square, so I know exactly which thread that was parked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just unpark that, and I'll show you how. Actually, let me just stop this video for a second because my system's on something really funny. Okay, so just going back to what we discussed earlier, I am just going to do the practical side of this now. I'm using a 20 count fabric and I'm going 1 over 1, sorry. Alright, so I'm just going to start this, and I'm going to do it in a 10 by 10 square. I've got my thread to the side of me. I'm just going to move so I'm a bit more comfy, and then I am going to start. So, right, so I've got to start in this square here by the looks of it, and on this line. So, what did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I believe that's right. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go down the middle of that one, and then, God, I can't see anything. Okay, so for this video I'm just going to do a 10 by 10, and then I can show you exactly what I do with regards to parking. And so I don't have to mess everything up, I'm just going to pin stitch it at the front. Oh, dear me. Pin stitch it at the front, and then, oh, where's my thread? The thread just come off my needle. So I don't have to twist my Q-snap round. But if those of you that don't like actually having a look at the back, I would suggest just checking it to make sure that you haven't got any knots. So every so often do just check the back, or you can just have a mirror, and if you've got a mirror, even better. So 1, 2, 4, so 1 space 4, and then, okay, so I'm at like a bit of an awkward angle at the moment. This is not normally how I stitch, but for the process of this video, oh, come on, I'll do it this way. Okay, so whilst I'm doing this, I'm going to answer some of these questions that we had. So one of the questions is, does the parking method work for all types of cross stitch, counted and stamped? Yes, I'm assuming it would do. Now, the only thing with having counted cross stitch is it may be quite difficult sort of seeing where your threads are and things like that, because it's quite a busy, counted cross stitch is quite busy, isn't it? So with here, if I had say for example a parked stitch here, for example, you'd be able to see that there was a park stitch there, or a parked thread, but because counted is very, very busy, I'm not sure how easy that would be to do. Also, when you've got a counted cross stitch piece, usually it's a kit, which means that it wouldn't be a downloadable pattern, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to put that on Pattern Keeper then. And for me, if you want to park, Pattern Keeper is going to be your best bet. And then so the next question was, how do you keep your floss from getting tangled when you have loose floss? That is a really good question. On some of mine, where I've got loads and loads and loads, I just plait it. You might have sort of, you know, a load sort of go diagonally, where, you know, you might just use the squares for your so some people, what I'm trying to say basically is, some people will go like this, and what they'll do is on this part here they'll have lots of thread here, this part here they'll have lots of parked threads, this part here they'll have lots of parked threads. So what you can almost do is bundle a couple of those together, that one with like this one, and you can plait them. Now if you plait them, then they don't get tangled. Of course sometimes they do get tangled, but the other thing that you can do is you can buy some of these things. Now this is going to obviously look really super big because I'm very sort of zoomed in, but what they do is, if you undo these here, what you do is you wind your thread around. You may have seen these on some other people's videos. Wind the thread around and then you just do that, and then they just literally hang on your work because they're connected with the threads. So that's something else that you can use. I don't think you do it for individual threads, but you would obviously have a group together, and then you would then then you would just tie them all around there, and then you're almost like bobinating them, and that would just keep them from getting all tangled. So that is the first line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these questions with you first whilst I'm stitching, and then I'm going to put the video on pause. I'm going to get to the end where I'm going to park my stitch, and then I will show you what we do. So the next question is, how do you not confuse yourself with what colour to use? Now I'm hoping that I managed to explain that to you earlier when I said that if you use Pattern Keeper, you know exactly what thread is parked in what hole and what DMC number that is. So that is how you don't get confused with all of the threads. Now, one thing that really helps is pre-gridded fabric, because you almost know, unless you can count from stitches and say, okay, so you know that's 1 stitch, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So say for example you've got quite a few browns in that one, and that one. If you haven't got gridded fabric, you're going to have to count from like your last stitch, which is that one. So that will be stitch 1, 2, 3, oh my days, 4, 5. Now if you go onto Pattern Keeper, you can count then from this stitch here. You can count from this stitch and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that should be colour 779 for example, and that's then how you know. Obviously if you've got Pattern Keeper, then you just click on that and you do the search to see what, you know, what part thread that is. It's just as simple as that. So let me do these. Okay, so the next question was, is it less time consuming than cross country? In the beginning, I would say no, because what you're doing is you're working yourself up. So you've got quite a few parked threads, like in this here, use this, where you've got quite a few parked threads in sort of this area here for this box, or this area here for this box. Now, what you might find is if you've got really loads of confetti, which in one of my stitching times, the first two sort of squares all the way along is confetti heaven. And I do have some of those colours going into the bits below. So what I found is that I've got all of my stitches where they need to be, and then I've got loads and loads and loads of parked threads. But when I come to do my parked thread, so when I finish the top bit and come in here to work in my parked threads, you know, I already know what threads they are and where I need to go, because on Pattern Keeper it will tell you exactly where those threads go on the pattern, and you just work them in. And what I tend to do is I tend to, you know, work a thread, you know, down, unless I'm working in a particular way or in a particular box, I will just work my threads down until it either needs to be parked because it's gone way too far, or I can't stitch with it anymore because it's basically run out. So next question. Do you work in small sections at a time? Now, I would say parking, you probably do. The reason why people park is because they like to work in small sections at a time. But, you know, you can also work in bigger sections. You can do it by page. Some people do it by page, and then instead of going into the next page, they'll park their threads in the next pages so that they're working a page at a time. So it is completely optional with what you want to do and how you want to do it. I love parking because I just find it art, really. I think it looks really pretty when you've got, you know, a fully stitched area above, and then you've got all these beautiful flosses. And I also love having loads of parked threads and then just working them all in. So I won't start any colours. I'll just have a look at my parked threads, and then I work like from left to right. So I'll start with the first thread here, and then I'll work it, and then the next thread and the next thread, and then I just work across. 5. Have I got that one? Where are you? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm talking too much. I think that is the last thread. Oh gosh. Come on. Okay, so that is 310, that one. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 310, and then so it's this one here. The only thing with having a super sharp needle is that you do split. You can split the fabric. However, I like working with super sharp needles because I like going in the middle of a square when I do a pin, when I start my threads and I do a pin stitch. Okay, so they are the questions that I've received. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop you guys on a pause quickly. So for me it will be probably about 10-15 minutes, and for you it will be immediate. So I will see you in a second when I have completed this square and I'm ready to park my thread. Right everyone, back in the room. So I'm literally just going to finish these couple of stitches off. and then I will show you what I do with regards to the parking. Don't worry about these too much. This is the waist knot, or not even a knot, this is the waist thread from my last thread that's just done this whole square. I have just run out of thread, so I started a new one, and obviously this is just like the new pin stitch that I've done for it. So I'm just going to finish these, and then I will park my thread. I mean, it's a good job that I've actually started a new one actually, because I'm hoping that this isn't going to distort too much. I'm just going to try and take it that way so the camera doesn't distort, go in and out of focus, which is really annoying. Okay, so that is my last stitch. Okay, so I finished with that box of that 10 by 10 square now. So what I'm going to do is I want to park this thread in, Gordon Bennett, here we go, this square here. So like I said to you, I always go bottom left to top right. So I'm going to park it there. I'll probably have to cut that thread a little bit because it's a little bit long. So when I've done that, I go to Pattern Keeper here. I'm going to move that. Excuse the lights. If I don't have the lights, then you can't see anything. So, oh, I think I've... Okay, so this one here, this E is where my thread's part. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to here where it says more. And then I'm going to say park thread in lower corner. Now what I did forget to say is, if you say for example didn't mean to park that one, you meant to park that one, you can unpark it. So if you click on that again and then you go to more, at the bottom it says not parked. So if you click that, then it goes back to not parked. But I want to park that one because that is where that thread is. So park in lower, and then I know that that thread is thread 3371, which is here, and it is E. So basically that is what you do for parking. I mean, it's not really much more confusing or complicated than that. I'm 100% certain that you will be amazed at how helpful Pattern Keeper is. And the great thing with Pattern Keeper is the fact that you only really need to pay a one-off charge, which is like £8, and you've got it then for life, and you can have as many patterns as you like. So if I go to my patterns, I'll show you what I've got here. So these are all the patterns I've got. So I've got lots of Amy Stewart's, I've got lots of Josephine Walls, I've got my sort of Northern Expressions one there. Artisy is over here. This is like a generic one I bought off Etsy, and they're absolutely fantastic. So this is my Bountiful bookshelf. So as you can see, the great thing about Pattern Keeper is that it basically reinstates the picture for you. So you know that, say for example on this one here, I had a wrong thread. Let's just say for argument's sake 3371, because we all know that that is like a very dark thread. So if I got my threads wrong in this area, if I have a look here and I think, oh, okay, well, you know, there's not supposed to be a load of sort of dark brown in this area, I can then refer back to it and I can double check that I actually picked up the right sort of symbol from the legend here. And if not, then you can correct it. And that's a great thing that I love about Pattern Keeper, is that it is basically reproducing your pattern as you go. This is a humongous one I've got on the go. I think I've got the best part of 90 odd pages, and I'm about sort of 3% done. This is a bit of a nightmare, this one. But yeah, so see if I can find another one that's got a little bit more. This is my Josephine Wall. I don't know if I've got any. See, like, okay, so the park threads in this one are yellow. You can actually go in and you can change, you know, all of your icon colours. So if you go here, you've got settings. If you go to settings, you can change your search colour. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, so you can change, where's my pen? You can change your search colour, and then you can change your parking colour. And for just giggles, I like to, you know, swap up and change, you know, in different projects so that it's not boring and things like that. But that is literally it. It is so simple to do. Let me see if I can show you how to, yeah, okay, let me see. So if you want to bring in a pattern, all you need to do is press this plus, and then you go to PDF file, and let's go to my downloads. So let's just say, for argument's sake, I want to bring in this one. I've obviously done this one already, so I'll delete it after. You press that, and then it's basically reading all the symbols and reading all the pages and yada yada yada. Verify charts, press verify chart. This gives you an idea of what it's going to look like when it's stitched. And at the top you've got mock-up, and this one here is PDF. You can't really see it. Let me see if I can, I don't know if you can just see that. I'm really sorry about the lights, guys, but if I don't have the lights, you won't be able to see anything. So if you press, so that's a mock-up, that's basically telling you what it's going to look like. If you press PDF, that just shows you everything that's been imported, which is your front page, your information page, all of your DMC numbers and what they are. That's fine. So then if you click on here, then that will take you to your pattern. Job done. That is as simple as it is to use Pattern Keeper. I mean, it is seriously simple. There is nothing complicated, nothing complex. There is a whole Pattern Keeper group, so if you've got any issues with anything, you want to find a question, I would put the question in the search bar first, because I can guarantee that if you've got that question, someone else would have had that question as well, and it's been answered there somewhere. But guys, honestly, use Pattern Keeper. It is an absolute, it really is an absolute game changer. I'll even show you how to install it. So I use Android, and I don't think that you can use it for what do you call it, iPhone at the moment. So I've already got it. Oh, what am I doing? I've already got it, so it'll come up as uninstall. So if I put in here Pattern Keeper, P-A-T-C-E-R-N, Keeper, enter. Right, hang on, let me see if I, there we go. It's this one here. Basically click on it. I've obviously got it, so I've got uninstall or open, so you would have install. Literally, that is it, guys. That is it. So I hope that video has been helpful. I'm going to put this one away now, and I will probably come back tomorrow and do a stitch with me. But yeah, absolutely love Pattern Keeper, and it will be, oh hang on, what's happened to my camera? It will be an absolute game changer to you guys if you get it, and I just can't guarantee, I can't, you know, sort of shout about it enough. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic piece of kit, and like I said, it's so cheap, and you will, well within, you know, the £8, you will get your, you know, your money's worth. I mean, even if you did a monthly contract, I think I'd probably still go for it, but you haven't got that, you know, you don't have to, you know, just to pay out for it monthly, because that isn't even a thing. So thank you very much for watching. I really hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, please guys, just pop it in the comments. I'm here to help. But just give it a go. Honestly, just give it a go. Just crack on and give it a go, and I promise you, it's the thought of doing it that makes it sound 100% worse than actually just getting in and doing it. So have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Cheers guys, bye.